This that summertime cruising down Main Street flow. This that windows down music when the AC broke. This the fan favorite Lucy, ain't no mainstream playlisting. USB.
It's funny, I'll actually talk about something I've never talked about in an interview. Yeah, hip hop was always something I loved doing, but being the actor kid, pursuing rap would just make everybody roll their eyes, which at the start it did. And so I had to overcome that of knowing that people would be judging. And so what I actually did when I first started out, I would enter YouTube rap contests anonymously. So this was back in high school. So this would have been 2010 or 2011. And when everybody was gone, which was rare because I'm one of 5 kids, and I'd go into my room and I'd record stuff, and I would find these like YouTube videos where they're doing ciphers or freestyle competitions, and I would download the instrumental. I taught myself how to like mix in GarageBand. It sounded awful. And I used an anonymous name, and I would enter these contests, and I entered 3 of them, and I won 2 of them. And so that was like, and I remember specifically the first one, because I had no idea if I was good at rap. I knew, like, I freestyled with friends in the car sometimes, you know, give me a random word, let's try to incorporate it. As an actor, I took a lot of improv classes, so coming up with stuff on the spot was fun. I'll never forget the moment, because like about a week or 2 weeks later when submissions closed, there was, I think 109 people entered. And the guy put out the video saying, all right, here's the winners. And he counted down from 5. In 5th place, this person. 4th place, this person. And he got to 2nd place, and my name hadn't been called yet. So I'm like, okay, either I'm first or I'm anywhere from, 6 to 110, which would then make me probably be cynical and be like, I probably came last. I probably suck at this. And sure enough, like I remember my name popped up as number 1. And that feeling that I had in that moment was like the biggest feeling of accomplishment to date that I felt. Like I remember fist pumping alone in my room, just being like overjoyed with like, I wouldn't even call it excitement. I don't even know what the word is. It was like a high. I felt so happy, and I've been like chasing that ever since. Yeah, it's perfect. The moment I put out my first video, being like, this is me, Connor Price. I rap. If you like it, great. If you don't, whatever. Here it is. And it got a great response. But ever since, and I didn't even have to wait for the response to know that was the path I wanted. The moment I like clicked publish on YouTube, all the kind of fear went away. It was like, all right, I've done it. Like that's that. The worst that can happen is people don't like it, but I'm just gonna keep doing it. So
in the studio, that's where you find me. Me and microphones, we go together like we.
I found ever since that first moment where I just sort of broke that wall down and put it out, everything's been really easy. And I think that's a good lesson for people too, is like everybody is like a perfectionist, but in reality I think it's like insecurity of like they just don't want to put that piece of content out to be judged. It's like just let it go, because the moment you let go of that first one, at least from my experience, it's like everything becomes easier. You sort of accept the judgment. But I was thinking about that recently of the whole success element, and that doesn't even mean monetarily. I just like doing better than what I did last and slowly building up, seeing like my subscriber count build up, or the views on a video going higher. I don't know, sometimes it makes me feel guilty for feeling that way, because I know, like I said, that the right artist response is like, oh, I don't look at the numbers, I do this just for me. But part of me really does do it because I want to just keep improving on what I did last. So I have all these like young kids from areas I've never visited who like DM me all the time. Yo, I'm trying to make music. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. And I'll go live on Facebook every so often, and they'll come in the chat. And I love like shouting people out and like playing their music on the stream. And there's something so fulfilling about giving someone that moment in the spotlight, or DMing someone back and being like, hey dude, just heard your song, it's great, because they may have sent me something and asked for criticism. So I'll say, my only criticism is I think maybe you could work on this or work on that, and they respond like so happy. They're like, oh man, I love your music, thank you so much for responding, this really inspired me, I can't wait to go work on this again. And so it's so cool to know that I potentially like inspired someone to want to keep going. Or even just responding, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you responded. I'm like, that's so strange to think that me responding made someone happy. So I can't wait to just continue to elevate in my career and continue to like give back, because that by far is like the best feeling. Another quote that I love that I think is Pablo Picasso, and it's something along the lines of, inspiration finds you working is so important, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna wait for inspiration to hit me. When in reality, you have to like just follow a schedule, sit down and work, even when you don't feel it. And when I force myself for those 2 hours to like start working, even at the start of the 2 hours, if I'm like not feeling motivated, something will eventually click that'll spark an idea that then leads to this. Oh wait, then I can write this. Oh, and then I'm gonna rhyme it with this, and then I'm off to the races, and then that's when I get caught up. And then that 2 hours hits, and you're like, whoa, it's 2 hours already? Like, let me reset this for another hour because I'm doing well here. So yeah, I find if I create a schedule for myself, stick to it, and sort of create a habit of forcing myself to work, that's when the inspiration comes, not the other way around. So I really like what the Courtney Cox song did. It did its thing. A lot of people heard of me that hadn't before. It didn't go crazy viral, but it went enough that some new fans came in, some new listeners. It put some pressure on me to all right, the next stuff has got to be just as good. Let's keep elevating. So I feel like I'm at a good place. I was almost nervous that the song would do too well, because I didn't think I'd be ready for that.
Little bit of boom bap, little bit of new rap. Little bit of Logic, little bit of Jid, little bit of Mac, little bit of Sing, little bit of rap, little bit of this, little bit of that.
I uploaded Courtney Cox onto Reddit, which is like the scariest place on earth, because people are so split in their opinions, and when somebody says something negative, the hive mentality takes place. Everybody jumps on the bandwagon of whatever the opinion is. I'd say probably 70% of the comments were positive, and then 30% were so like, this guy sucks, this is so cringy, he's an industry plant. Oh, he's a Jack Harlow wannabe. I'm longboarding in the video. This guy was like, why are you longboarding? You just set back rappers 50 years. I'm like, oh my God, this is so rude. Dude, I couldn't believe it. They were just destroying me. So it's like, I feel like there's always going to be a group of people that won't accept me in hip hop until they do. It's like, that happened with Drake. Early on in Drake's career, he was so new for singing and rapping. And he was singing about his emotions and girls, and that wasn't cool. He got made fun of so much. And then all of a sudden, everyone loves him. So it's like, I feel like the acceptance thing will be something I'll struggle with for a while.
Look, every day that they see me, they like, what's up, dude? I tell them not much, but we know it's not true. Got a to-do list at
Yeah, it feels strange to give advice because I feel like I'm there in regards to still feeling unsure about how to do a lot of things, still feeling like, even days after releasing that Courtney Cox song, and where I should feel like, oh, I'm on top of the world, I'm the best, it's like I never really had those thoughts. I was more just like, okay, what am I gonna do next? I'm a little nervous. Like, is the song really that good? Like imposter syndrome type stuff I still deal with. So it feels strange to give advice. But that being said, the one big regret I have is that I didn't start sooner. And the reason I didn't start sooner, going back to being anonymous, was because I was nervous about what other people would think. But then once you sort of come to the realization that there's people out there who think Michael Jackson has no talent. Like, there really is people out there who think, Jay-Z's a horrible rapper. Like, there's going to be people, no matter what, who will not like what you do. And once you accept that and realize that, then you sort of let go of that fear, and you develop that confidence to put yourself out there. And I really wish I started sooner. So my advice to anybody is, easier said than done, but just take that leap. Put that song out, or write that screenplay, or audition for that school play, whatever it is. It's not even always music. If your reason for not doing something, when you really talk to yourself and think about it, is because of someone else's judgment, whether it's your mom or your brother or your friend group who would point and laugh at you if you wanted to do a rap song, screw it. Just put it out there. The worst that happens is either you realize, oh, this isn't for me, or you realize you love it. It's like, either way, you will not live with that regret later on. And that is always my biggest fear, is getting to the end of my life and looking back and having regrets. And I'm trying to limit that as much as possible. And at the moment, yeah, my regret currently is I really wish in high school I put myself out there, not anonymously, just been like, hey, screw it. I'm Connor. Yes, you guys know me as the actor, but I also love rapping. Here it is. Because I feel like the progress that I've made in the last 3 years has been great. When I listen to songs I did 3 years ago, I'm like, wow, they're not that great. So now I'm thinking, wow, if I really went full on in this when I was 16 or 15, I wonder where I'd be now. Maybe I'd be doing a lot more. So, it's not good to think like that. I try not to think back on things I can't change, but I'm doing it for the sake of telling that one person, there's nothing worse than having regret of wishing you started something. So, yeah, my advice is just do it.